Before the Beatles ever stepped into a recording studio, they were already veterans of the stage. By the time they played their first official gig as the Beatles, in August 1960, they'd been performing live for years, refining a sound that would soon shake the foundations of popular music. It all began in the spring of 1957 with a teenage skiffle group called the Quarrymen, led by a young John Lennon. At this time, Paul McCartney and George Harrison were not yet part of the band. The group was born out of the skiffle craze sweeping the UK, appealing to youth for its do-it-yourself spirit and raw energy. The Quarrymen's first known live performance took place around May 1957. Just weeks later, on June 9th, they entered a TV talent show competition, and by July 6th, a milestone occurred: their performance at the Woolton Fete, where John Lennon met Paul McCartney for the first time. Paul officially joined the Quarrymen on October 18, 1957, debuting with the group at New Club Moor Hall in Liverpool. George Harrison followed in March 1958, though the exact date of his live debut remains unclear. However, he did participate in a recording session on July 12, 1958, at Philips Sound Recording Services. As the group evolved, they began experimenting with names Johnny and the Moondogs, the Silver Beats, and the Silver Beatles, as they sought a more modern rock and roll identity. On October 18, 1959, they performed as Johnny and the Moondogs in a second attempt at the TV Star Search talent show. In early 1960, with artist Stuart Sutcliffe joining on bass, the group began performing under various Beatle-themed names. Their first show as the Silver Beats took place on May 14th at Latham Hall. The very next night, they appeared as the Silver Beatles at the Iron Door Club, before embarking on a short Scottish tour as the backing band for singer Johnny Gentle. It was during this period that they connected with Alan Williams, a local promoter who booked them into two of his Liverpool venues, the Jacaranda Club and the Blue Angel. Around this time, they settled on a new name, the Beatles, a clever play on beat music and beat culture. But they were still missing something essential: a drummer. In August 1960, they found one, Pete Best, the son of Mona Best, owner of the Casbah Coffee Club, where the Quarrymen had regularly performed. Pete joined just in time for their first real tour. Their farewell performance in Liverpool was on August 15, 1960, at the Jacaranda Club. Promoted under their old name, the Silver Beatles, the show marked their final hometown gig before heading abroad. Tickets were 2 shillings and 6 pence, and the 400-capacity club was filled with local fans. Just 2 days later, the band departed for Hamburg, Germany. Crammed into a seatless van, they drove to Harwich, took the ferry to the Hook of Holland, and arrived in Hamburg on August 17, 1960. That very night, the Beatles played their first show under their new name, the Beatles, at the Indoor Club on Grosse Freiheit Street. This marked the beginning of a grueling 48-night residency, performing up to 4 times each night. Their schedule: 8 to 9:30 p.m., 10 to 11 p.m., 11:30 to 12:30 a.m., and 1 to 2 a.m. These marathon sets, though exhausting, would prove pivotal. The band tightened their sound, built stamina, and learned how to command a crowd. One early moment of overlap with future Beatle Ringo Starr came on March 13, 1959, when the Quarrymen shared a bill with Al Caldwell's Texans, featuring Ringo on drums. At the time, he was a member of what would become Rory Storm and the Hurricanes. But Ringo wouldn't officially join the Beatles until August 18, 1962, making his debut as the band's new drummer at Hewlin Hall in Port Sunlight, Merseyside. From skiffle roots and basement clubs of Liverpool to marathon nights in Hamburg, the Beatles' journey to global stardom was anything but sudden. These early years, marked by tireless gigging, constant reinvention, and a growing sense of purpose, laid the foundation for one of the most influential bands in music history. And it all started with a group of teenagers, a homemade guitar, and a dream.